Hari Om. Good evening. A very warm welcome to all of you. Please come. Let's pray together. Om. 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 Vasato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Sahana vavatu sahano bhunakto sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord, the Almighty, the Omniscient, the Omnipotent, who also has the divine names Rutuhu and Sudarshana, such a magnificent Lord, together with Shraddha, Bhakti, and Prabhu, we offer humble salutation to seek your grace, your love, your mercy, your affection, your benevolence, your forgiveness, your strength, your resilience. O Lord, bless me with the divine qualities in much more proportion. Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, Prapatti, not for any other worldly reasons, but only and only to understand thy true nature in my very heart itself. Aparoksha Anubhuti. Bless me that I have the first-hand experience of thyself being within me and one with me. I offer my to the Guru Parampara. And finally, I beseech in you that at the end of our life, we all, today, by the grace of the Almighty, and the blessings of the Guru Parampara. We are on our Divine Discourse number 380. On the 25th of May 2024, Swasti Shri Krodhinama Samvatsara, Uttarayana, Vasanta Rutu, Vaishakama, Shukla Paksha, Bhaumavasare, Trayodashi, Swati Nakshatra, Vyatapatha Yoge, Daitulakarani. On this auspicious day of Tuesday and the auspicious time of evening, let's all make a firm resolve the more the intensity of your sincerity in this resolve will remove you from the pain of sorrows and anxieties. With that surrender and devotion, say, O Lord, Naham Karta Hari Karta, Hari Preranaya, Hari Priti. Every situation in my life, every incident, every circumstance, be it through a person, place, or an object, I know pretty well, I know for sure that it is you and you only structured all the events that are happening in my life. And I know for sure that all these are only and only to lift me from the ocean of births and deaths, to give me the right amount of vairagya, to give me the right quantum of knowledge, and to give me the right measure surrender. I again and again pray to you, Lord, to keep sending me whatever you feel is right. I will not ask questions about. I will not even feel unhappy over anything. I will simply accept everything as a prasada from you, as a gift from you. Live my life with contentment, with peace, with love towards all, devotion towards you. Let the force of Maya not disturb me from this path. I therefore need your blessings and thy protection. The Guru Parampara once again. Om. Good evening, everybody. Okay. A warm welcome. So here, verse 5. What does it talk about? What we understood in the first discourse? It's about the key driver, which is the mind. So mind is like that steering. Now let's say there is a ditch on the left and on the right of your road. And if at that point you make a mistake of turning your steering to the left or to the right, you're going to fall to the ditch. So mind is precisely, it needs a direction. That direction which constantly is steering your life. So, what Lord Krishna here says is, look, I have given you an instrument. How you use it is in your hands. Now you use it for your upliftment, you use it for your downfall, is also fine. It is in your hands. Let's say, like if a father gives his two sons, he gives them equal amount of money. And he says, now I leave it to you. Whatever you do with the money, it's up. Now, one son takes the money and he properly invests it in various, not in one pocket, but in different segments. He invests the money. And also from time to time, he is donating that money for good causes, for charitable. He's growing his business, monitoring his investments. That is his. Now, on the other hand, the other son, no sooner he gets that money, he just thinks of how I can enjoy with this money. He gathers his friends and goes out to different places, enjoying all the sensory pleasures what money can give. Thereby, over a period of time, he becomes. Now, what does this state? Here, that money is like the mind. How you have used it. Now, the first son is growing with that same amount of money, equal amount of money what the father had given. After 5 years, he had almost 3 times or 4 times the amount. But within a year or two, the second son had lost the entire money. This way, what we need to do is how we are going to mind extremely important. So today we learn several intricate aspects of the mind. See, because each and every soul, we do not know at what level they are stuck. So sometimes some critical aspects I go into much more deeper levels, because somewhere if somebody has got a kind of a glitch, so those can, if they are avoided, then the soul rises dramatically. So now the verse goes as उद्धरेदात्मानमात्मानं न आत्मानमवसादयेत् आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धुः आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः. Clear? It's in one hands to either lift the mind, or which can train the mind to lift you in life, or you don't train the mind, it will throw you down in life. Okay, now having said this, do I have the free will to do this? That is what we ended during our last discourse. Now, metaphysically, meaning in the adhyatmic way, they says there is no free will. And from the second stage, if you say that, they say there is free will. And the third stage, they also said that there is no free will, but there is freedom. But I'll tell you, then what do you take this appearance of free will to acknowledge? How do I look at it? That ultimately there is no free will, it's only God's will? Or use this appearance of free will to the best use, which is so-called the best use of this illusion of free will? Whatever we call it, the best use of it is to acknowledge. Now let's not look at how different segments of people in the world look at free will. We will look at it from a sadhak's point of view. And what at least I would do is to continuously surrender to God. That much choice you and I both have as a sadhak. and which we have been doing, and we are growing upon it. We are only praying again and again to the Lord that intensify my surrender. That Sharanagati, which is surrender, intensified to the highest level becomes Prapatti. So here we are telling, oh Lord, I don't want to get into any argument, debate, justification of whether there is free will or not. I just want to surrender to you. That's it. Do it. He will not say no. And why even pray to a God who can hear to the sound of the anklets on an ant's feet? So here Uddaret, the very first word of this shloka, if you understand it in two sentences, Dhri and Ri. Ut plus Dhri, Ut plus Ri. Now, Ri means to take away, to snatch away. So when we have fallen in bad company, we have fallen in the trap. What is the bad company here? We are not talking of people around over here. The first and foremost bad company is your own senses, which are out of desire. They are creating so many things. Pull me out this bad sense. Like Duryodhana was not willing. He just wanted to live in that frame of mind, in that deprived state of life. But Arjuna wanted, oh Lord, rescue me. I don't know where these thoughts are coming from. I don't want to entertain those thoughts, but they are again and again coming. I need your help. That one sentence, I need your help. Don't we tell people, I need your help? For small things we ask so many people, can you help me on this? I have something to fix. Ask the Lord. Whatever it is like no. The spontaneous saying should be, हरि का चिंतन मैं करूं और मेरा चिंता तुम करो. वो तुम is, ओ लॉर्ड तुम करो मेरा चिंता, मैं तुम्हारा ही चिंतन. I am only going to take your name. Rest, whatever has to happen in my life, I don't know, you take care. And the Lord does that. It is not that He doesn't say that, hey, what are you telling me? No. He says, when somebody is devoted to Him, when somebody has surrendered to Him, He says, I will not employ somebody else to take care of your work, but I will personally do it. If someone is going to another place, a friend has come to your place and he says, okay, I'm traveling back to say, Hyderabad. Now, you have a parcel to be delivered to a friend of yours in Hyderabad. Now, what you tell your friend, hey, please take this parcel and see that you send it through somebody to so and so address. Now, the friend can say, okay, I'll do it. But if the friend says, don't worry, I will personally go and deliver it to your friend, how will you feel? That shows concern. See, the job is that parcel has to reach a particular address in Hyderabad. Whoever takes it, it's fine. A responsible person going and delivering it, that's enough. But if your friend says, I will personally go at the convenient time of your friend and deliver it, meaning that is the highest level of dedication or what somebody can do. So Lord says in the same way, I am here to protect you. So forget about the argument of free will, just surrender. And so here, meaning pull me out of that trap. And second meaning, Dhri means to raise yourself upwards from that meanness what I have, that selfishness what I have. I want to become noble and generous. I want to go to a higher situation in life. Like it starts in a very um, basic way. Like as we say, inferior people discuss about other people. Average people, they talk about events, situations. That movie is good, this restaurant is good, that holiday is good, this agent is good, this travel is this airline is good. Various events they discuss. Average. Superior people discuss and superior spiritual people, they only discuss about the intricate aspects of spirituality. So lift me from this. If I am talking about other people, first let me get on to talking about events and situations, places. And from there, I further rise to talking about ideas, versions, or strategy. So this way, slowly elevate. And I'm sure that we are all at the top level now, but we need to intensify our growth at level. So this way, you're telling your mind, I want a correction here, go to the next track or go to the next track. And then when there is disturbance in our mind, what you say is start chanting a mantra. This is one great tool which we all have and we fail to use it. I don't know, it could be the power of Maya, it doesn't come to our mind. Anytime anything disturbs you is like your doorbell ringing. What do we do when the doorbell rings? We open the door, we go and open the door. In the same way, when a thought of fear, anxiety, suppression, depression hits your mind, means the doorbell has rung, and you going there means you start chanting. If it is too disturbing, then chant it loudly. Go to a quiet place and as far as possible, shout it at the top of your voice. No fear, no disturbance can disturb you. So this way, tell your mind. Swamiji was telling me, when they take up this monkhood, meaning when they're giving this sannyas, they are told to say that henceforth my talk will be Brihad Vadheva. Brihad Vadheva means I am going to only talk of the vast, the noble, the great, meaning about Lord and Lord. So these are all the training what we need to give to our mind. The verse from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which is one of the oldest and the largest Upanishad per se. It comes from the part of the Shatapatha Brahmana. It says, Mana eva manushyanam karana bandha moksha eva. So the mind indeed is the cause of bondage and liberation for humans. It's so meticulously they have explained. It can take you both ways. It emphasizes this pivotal role of the mind in determining the state of your bondage or liberation for any human being. So when the mind is attached to the worldly desires and material pursuits, leads to bondage. Or you can, in other words, you can call it as an entanglement in the cycle of birth and death, samsara. But when the mind is focused on getting purified by doing nama japa, by doing seva, doing good deeds, now this purified mind is directed towards spiritual realization. Is the impact of spiritual realization is direct, which gives you that freedom from the cycle of birth. So in this way, this Brihadvadeva, now you have to tell your mind, Brihad. So one is pull me out from the realm of the senses. And what you do? To the realm of the heart. And from there to the pull me out from the realm of the mind. And from there, from the realm of the intellect. Finally take me to the realm of Paramatma. Slowly you go higher and this way. Anger, greed, desire, jealousy, all these are the qualities which pull you down. So be careful about this. So in this way, now the Lord is telling us that look, I'm using the word Atma over here. Don't get confused. Atma means, now this comes from the Taittiriya Upanishad, in the Brahmananda Valli, in the second chapter. So it says sheaths. We have the Annamaya Kosha, body made of Anna means food. Then we have Pranamaya Kosha, we have Manomaya Kosha. So in this way, each and every Annamaya Atma, Pranamaya Atma, Manomaya Atma, they've used on those lines. So here it says, lift yourself, lift your body. And think, everything. Now I have got fingers. Fingers is to keep an account of my japa. I have a tongue. The tongue is to say the name of the Lord. Now I have got my breath which is going in and out when I'm observing. Immediately from breath comes the thought. What am I thinking about? The thought of the God. I have an heart. So that heart, that intellect is to inquire about, think about God. And then eventually the intellect which I have got apart from the heart is to engage at different levels. What this Atma is, who am I? The sense. So be it at the physical level, mental level, emotional level, intellectual level, every stage, what am I doing? Then what am I saying? What am I thinking? See all this. So this is what your mind has to be trained to constantly monitor on these lines. See, we may say that, I don't know, suddenly a thought comes to my mind. What is happening exactly over here? Then again, replace the thought with. The more we get into this kind of in fact, it's a meditation. When you are able to get a thought and you are in this habit of replacing it with a mantra and staying in that mantra, that becomes meditation. Don't just say I'm doing Nama Japa. In fact, one of the leading scientists of the Neuroscience Institute of NIMHANS in Bengaluru, he made a very emphatical statement about what is the state of a meditator's mind. So he says, when he examined the brain of a meditator and a commoner, so he says, in long-term meditators, you can see them, there is a different firing of the neurons in the brain. So that in the prefrontal cortex, that is the portion. Now, prefrontal cortex in human beings has developed in the past few hundred years. It's not that it is there from a million years before or say much before that. There was no prefrontal cortex. Animals don't have this. It is only the humans who have this prefrontal cortex, and it is slowly developing over generations. Now, what is the job of this prefrontal cortex? It can change the neurons in your mind. Whatever is your understanding about something, over a period of time with the neuroplasticity, you can change it. So there is a window. Whenever a thought comes, Now understand this carefully. A thought is springing up from in my mind. Without my knowledge, a thought came. A meditator or a one who does nama japa, he has the power before even your limbic system, which is the motor organ brain, which takes over. This particular prefrontal cortex can change the direction of the thought. So, this way, we have understood even by science that the power of prefrontal cortex to change the direction of a thought enhances in a sadhak. But how is this happening? Mind again. So long back during the French Revolution, at that time, very many were against the Catholic Church, and there was one revolutionary who was against a Catholic Church. He had a friend, a childhood friend, who lived in a small place, and he was, of course, a priest. So he goes to meet his friend. Now, without notice, he has gone. And as I told you, during the French Revolution, meaning there were no WhatsApp, there were no telephones, nothing like that. So you just show up over there. And he sees his friend, he's meeting him after a long time. He sees his friend where he's teaching him about religion. Boy of about 7-8 years. Then he's listening to what his priest father is saying. He's a revolutionary, he's against all this. Then after some time, he declares that I'm here. They both hug each other and find the pleasantries. He tells his friend, why are you brainwashing your child? It's coming from a friend. Although he's a priest, now he knows that his friend is a revolutionary. He has come after a long time, he keeps listening to him. And since he is listening, now he goes to the next sentence. Allow him to grow freely. And then when he grows up, let him choose for himself whatever he wants to do, whatever religion he wants to have. First of all, he wants to have a religion or no religion. You allow him to be on his own. This priest, he didn't tell anything, his friend. He treated him with whatever he could do as a host, and then eventually this friend he took leave and he went out of the house. And while going out, he sees that his friend had a beautiful garden. He tells him, you've really maintained your garden so well. So happy to see such a beautiful garden. So they smile at each other. Fine. So then he asks him, when are you coming next? He says, I'm coming after, say, 4 or 6 weeks. I'll be passing this way, and at that time I'll meet you. Next time he comes, and the first question he asks is, what has happened to your garden? It's completely ransacked by these shrubs. Then the priest friend, he says, last time when you came, you said you should allow things to be by themselves. You were telling about my son. Don't try to do anything. Let them grow on their own. Now, when you just allow your mind to grow, there are so many shrubs, unwanted shrubs. There are so many weeds which grow and spoil the whole place. So this way, what we need in life, we need to constantly keep monitoring our mind. Just like a mother, she is busy doing her job, the chores of the house, but her one eye is constantly on the child. Small child, 2 years child, now it has just started crawling, moving. So she keeps an eye on the child. In the same way, whatever we are doing, we have to keep our eye at 60. The reason is, as Lord Krishna said in the verse 3, Arurukshor muner yogam karma karanam uchyate. Yoga rudasya tasyaiva kshama karanam uchyate. He says, those who are climbing the ladder of yoga, now we all are climbing the ladder of yoga. For us, action is the way forward. That is the way for all sorts of spiritual practices. And those who have achieved purity of mind, for them, which is of course the result of karma yoga, for them meditation is the. How we have to understand, we have to connect things. You have to constantly keep checking your mind. What is the condition of my mind today? Okay, yesterday I know. What is the condition today? There's a beautiful Zen story about a meditator who was told to meditate by his master, and he comes and he apologizes with his master and he says, Master, I need to be truthful to you. When I sit to meditate, I get only filthy thoughts. Forget about this metaphysical, adhyatmika, spiritual thoughts. Nowhere. So the master says, this happened in Japan. He says, don't worry. You do one thing. Now, in front of the master's house, there was a garden. And as we have seen in these Japanese gardens, you have these pebbles, those polished white and black pebbles. So the master tells him, go and get 2 bowls and pick up all the white pebbles and put them, whenever you get a good thought, start putting the white pebble in the one of the bowl. And whenever you get a bad thought, you put a black pebble in a bowl, and then monitor. After the end of your meditation, see what are the amount of pebbles. And so the student goes, he collects all black and white pebbles, he makes a heap, 2 heaps in front of him, and as he gets a thought, he notices what thought it is. This is very important. We don't notice our thoughts. We don't audit our thoughts. So he goes into that exercise. Bad thought. He picks up a black pebble, puts it in the. Then again, another thought came. He puts the pebble in the bowl. And at the end of the meditation, he sees that in the bowl there is hardly 1 or 2 white pebbles, rest all are black. Goes to the master and says, this is the result. Don't worry, you're on the right track. Keep observing the thoughts of your mind. For a period of time, a few months, the situation reverses. 1 or 2 black pebbles are there, the rest are all. So in this way, one has to pay attention. That is extremely important over here. If you don't pay attention, then you don't know where you will be hit. Because in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, there is a commentary by Vyasa on the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Evam vritti samskara chakram aharnisham avartamanam. Meaning, aharnisham avartamanam. Aharnisham means continuously. Avartamanam means the thoughts keep springing up in your mind. Evam vritti. Vritti is a thought in your mind. Samskara chakram. Out of your past samskaras, they keep bubbling. So what one has to do is be attentive of the thought, and after having strengthened your prefrontal cortex, change the nature of your. How one can do it? If an angry thought comes in your mind, immediately tell the mind, the intellect tells your mind, don't get angry. Bring in a thought which is peaceful. Why should I continue my anger on this person? Forgive him. And now what happens? As I said, samskara chakram, it is on a continuous basis. Avartamanam, day and night. It is rotating within yourself. So once you're angry and you show anger, what happens? It doesn't go, okay, I've thrown away anger. No, that anger further goes and resides in you in a much stronger form. So what you have to do? Alternate that thought of anger with peace, forgiveness. And then you see what happens is you don't scold that person, or you don't um, show signs of hatred towards that person. You just allow that thought. You behave with them in a gentle way. Now the peace thought goes inside your Karana Sharira. And as I said, over a period of time, all the black pebbles, they get reduced, and white pebbles, they get accumulated. In the same way, when you are replacing your thought on these with the power of the prefrontal cortex, now you will see that eventually only good thoughts spring from. So this way, this sadhak, whatever is happening in his life, he is watchful of the situation in life. So this is called rescue yourself by yourself. And now another important statement he makes, Atmanam avasadayet. Now this is extremely important, which we need to understand. Na Atmanam avasadayet, meaning don't lower yourself. How are we lowering ourselves? Simple aspect. Now the truth is, your nature is unlimited, infinite existence. But what do we think? We think that we are this meager, feeble, weak personality. That avasadana. This is what is the true avasadana, meaning you are demeaning yourself. You are depriving yourself. When your nature is Atmai Vedam Sarvam, Ishavasyamidam Sarvam. So when this is your situation, you don't have a boundary. But with this skin we have made, up to the skin it is me. Outside the skin, everything outside. So I am this one little body and one little thing. So the Upanishad and the Gita says, this is our sadhana, depriving oneself by lowering oneself. And you're getting unhappy for various things. Some suffering you are exhibiting yourself. You are not allowed to be unhappy. Every time you are unhappy, for whatever reason, I don't care. It is an offense against your true nature, which is Ananda. That is avasadai, committing an offense. So, in as much as practical sense, avasadana means doing the opposite of the four yogas. Now, we'll compare it to Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Karma Yoga. When you have got selfishness within you, is the opposite of Karma Yoga. So you're lowering yourself. Karma Yoga has to be generous. To whatever extent you can in life, you need to work for the benefit of others without expecting any fruit or result. So if you are doing any activity selfishly, meaning you are degrading yourself, avasadai. Then if you are desiring something, I want this, I want that, all these desires you're running after, you have forgotten God, but you're only desiring the world. This is avasadai. Your mind, it is not concentrating on godly things, it is only concentrating on worldly things. That is avasadai. So the first one is Karma Yoga, second one is Bhakti Yoga, and the third is Raja Yoga. Comes to concentration. Now, lastly, not knowing yourself that you are Satchidananda and knowing your understanding yourself to be this body and mind, you are again lowering yourself. So, from all perspectives, if you see what is happening, you are not training your mind in the right direction. These are all the channels which now we are learning today. Pick up whatever you're liking, make those fine pointers, and start practicing in life. If you are a woodcutter and you go to the jungle to chop wood, first and foremost thing you need to see for yourself is how well your axe is polished. Don't have a polished axe, you will not be able to cut the required quantum. So mind is like that axe. On the path of spirituality, we need to polish our, meaning you need to train your mind. There's one great French philosopher, in fact, she died at a very young age. Simone Weil, or Simon Weil they call, who wrote one of the revolutionary books, The Need for Roots. She was a very spiritual person, but she did not belong to any organized sect or thing or any religion for that sake, but a philosopher. Now she says, I don't understand why we all study. We go to nursery, then KG, then first standard, second, primary, secondary, then college, graduation, post graduation. He says, I don't. And then finally, what he says is, the purpose of study is to develop the power of concentration. Yeah, without concentration, what will you study? See, you should, whoever it is, develop that power of concentration so that one can concentrate on God after you've finished your studies, because in any which case, those studies are not going to help you much. So the value of school study, she says, concentrate, spiritual. And if you are distracted, she says it is a sin. Distraction in life is most sinful stage, and it is an offense, what we have also seen as per the Raj Yoga which we discussed. So finally, what we have to understand is, anything and everything we do in life, how much it is taking us to God and power. And as per the Jnana Yoga, avasadhana, lowering yourself is not identifying yourself with the supreme power or Brahma. Avasad in Hindi, what means depression. It is like practically a pathological depression. It's avasadayit. Don't go to that stage. So we have got great amount of techniques now to understand how we can lift ourselves. Many a times you may be listening second time, third time, fine, but we forget on the important aspects. So just make pointers, and once you make pointers, it so happens that you are in a position to quickly, at a glance, you have 5 6 points. Am I following all these 5 6 or not? Then yes, okay, this point, how much, take a review, how much I have progressed on these points. Otherwise, listening will be fine, but what did we achieve out of that listening? Result has to be there, isn't it? Just me listening and having it in my mind without any follow-up and review of what I have tried to understand, study in life, will have no. So the right methods of working towards achieving any object in life is extremely. Now, the sixth verse is more or less on the same lines, but we'll give it a different perspective and try to add value to our. Let's read the sixth verse. श्रीभगवानुवाच बन्धुरात्मात्मनास्तस्य येनात्मैवात्मना जितः अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत्. So here, what Lord Krishna is trying to explain to us is, now, if you have to go from the point of view of, let me be result oriented. I want results in life. I don't want to gain panditya. And if that is my state in life, how do I look at life? So that is being answered over here. And let's get the inkling what Lord is trying to tell us. Okay. Here, a Jivatma, now who has won over his senses. Now we have done a lot of sadhana, and we have gained enormous amount of control over our senses, and of course the mind and body. So now such a person, for him, his mind has become his own friend. And one who has not gained control, it has become an enemy. So here, jitaha, what jitaha they have used, the last word of the first sentence is not just conquering one's senses, body and mind, but what is prominent. Have you understood that? That avagata, that realization, okay, I did all this. As the great author Simone Weil said, I studied so many things during my childhood, primary, secondary, pre-university, graduation, post-graduation, all that time. I don't know how much of that knowledge will come to me of use in life, but what I've realized is that has helped me to develop the power of concentration. And that concentration has to be on God and God. So he says, using that power of concentration, establishing oneself in the ultimate goal, purpose of life. Knowing that this world is mithya. Mithya means illusion. Illusion means it's there today, it's not there tomorrow, it was not there yesterday. Somewhere in between it came and it went. So don't we see there were so many roads which were there about 10, 20, 30 years back, and now those roads are not there. Some new roads have come. Some bridges have also gone, or some new bridges have come. Some localities were not there, they have come, and some which were there, they have gone. Some people were there yesterday, today they are not there. And tomorrow somebody new who was never there has also come. So knowing that this world is temporary and constantly changing, one has to live with. This is what we need to understand. That change is a permanent feature of life. And now I'll just discuss with you how to get over this joy and sorrow. I was good in the morning, but I don't know. Now I have no mood. Are morning to you're laughing and doing, you're all good. What to do here? It's news. Now this is one very important thing. Understand, if you are happy or something good which has happened, then be prepared to be sad when something is wrong. If you want day, you have to be prepared for the night. There are no two ways about it. Now if you say, I don't want to be sad, then don't be happy also. Whenever happiness comes in, train your mind to be in a equilibrium state. And it works until. Don't try to do it with sorrow. Start with joy. Whenever joy comes, don't get too excited. And see, when sorrow hits you, you will not be depressed. So, once upon a time, far away in a kingdom, there lived a wise and a benevolent king. Now, this king, although he was having so much of wisdom, but he found himself, deeply disturbed by the sudden ups and downs of life. Some minister is coming and telling him something good. So 5-10 minutes he is happy. As far as he's talking with that minister, he's happy. Now another minister comes and gives him a bad news. He's again disturbed. And again somebody is some. So this way, he says, I'm too disturbed by all these ups and downs. He says, let me have a lasting peace of mind. This is important. You, as far as you're riding the waves of happiness and sorrow, you're going up and down. But if you want your mind to be peaceful, at the sama bhava, equilibrium, if you want, then he says, let me ask some advisors how to get rid of this. So the advisors, they deliberated for a few days and then they finally found a solution. One of the oldest and wisest of the advisors approached Your Majesty. He said, I have found a simple but yet a profound solution to your problem. So for that, what I have to do is I have to summon the best jeweler in the kingdom and I'm going to create a very special ring for you. And what he had inscribed on this ring will be a message. So whenever you feel overwhelmed by happiness or by sorrow, look at the ring, read the inscription on the ring, and it will find you balance and peace. King agreed. So the country's best jeweler was summoned, and after a few days, the jeweler returned back to the king with a beautiful gold ring. And inscribed on that gold ring were 4 little words: this too shall pass. Looking at the simplicity of the message, he was puzzled. But he had decided to trust. In fact, he had that trust with the advisors. So he wore the ring on his finger. And every day he found himself frequently looking at that inscription on the ring. He had diligently, now he knows one of the best advisors who has given me result in the past is saying this, and I'm going to listen. I'm going to work by what he has said. Okay. One day the kingdom was struck with a terrible disaster. A massive flood had swept the entire land. It had destroyed homes, crops. Oh, many people were in despair. Feeling overwhelmed, he sorrow in a state of sorrow and helplessness. He can't do anything, but he has that responsibility. He looked at his true. See, mind. He's telling the mind, don't get disturbed. This too shall. So now, remembering this transient nature, he found that strength. Immediately, he did not get drowned. He got the strength to be firm on his feet, how to lead my people, how to be active, and instructing the entire team to work during that time crisis with compassion and resilience. One of the situations. Now, after a few months, he saw that again the kingdom flourished. People are celebrating a bountiful harvest, and there is immense joy, happiness, dance. Everybody is proud of their land. Now, he's getting so joyous. He's saying, this is one of the best phases of my life, and he's feeling too happy. I'm giving you the extremes over here. Then immediately he tells his mind, look at the inscription, this too shall pass. So he was again reminded to be humble, grounded, knowing that fortune, like misfortune, they are always transient. They come and so from that day on, the king found enormous peace of mind. He was not wavering with whatever things, situations are happening. He is in that equilibrium frame of mind. And to achieve this, whenever you get some happy news, immediately watch your mind. Don't allow it to dance. I know. It's like at the door, unhappiness is waiting. It has already knocked. Because happiness is inside, it's saying, okay, I'll wait till this person comes out. The moment this person goes away, don't be too drowned with sorrow, because happiness is waiting there again. But what happens is, most of the time, say if there are 10 visitors, 7 or 8 visitors will be sorrow and 2 will be happiness. So I don't want, for the sake of 1 or 2 happiness, why should I suffer 8 times? Let me be in that constant state of mind attached to the name of the Lord. So this way he understood, by accepting the impermanence of life, he learned to navigate with the highs and lows, and of course with equanimity. So this way we have to understand that this is the part of life. Now you don't have a choice over here. See that there is mithya. Mithya is that illusion. Another metaphor I can give you. Now, in olden days, how a child was put to asleep, there was a long cloth, a circular cloth. So there is a clamp to the ceiling, and that has a S shape hook. Now on that hook you have this circular cloth which is put over there, and the child is sleeping inside the cloth. So now that is the cradle. So the mother, what it's doing, she's swinging it left and right, that way, both ways. This is in fact right from our childhood we have seen this. Now if you see the tune of the mother, she's singing a lullaby. Now if this child is crying, she wants to put it to sleep. So we have seen she's this kind of a hymn. I think you must have heard this. Now what the mother is saying to the child is, all this outside, outside this cradle of yours is all this ulululu, meaning it has got no meaning, no sense. Is the true meaning. But the child doesn't have the mind to understand this. She is telling the child, this is a trap outside. It has got no sense, no meaning. Understand, don't get into this trap. But poor thing, what the child will understand. Now in the same way, our mind is also, if it is not prepared, if we are getting all this knowledge, such divine knowledge, Lord Krishna is giving, and we just that goes by the ear. One has to be prepared. Go inwards. Forget about everything. Be constantly established in that supreme reality. For that, what you have to do, first stop the aberrations of the mind up and down. See, we are all ordinary commoners, householders. Look at our kings. If you see the lineage of kings, they were not interested in conquering neighboring lands and getting in more and more land to their territory. No, they were at best protecting themselves. They were not interested in conquering. They were all working towards swaswarupa anusandhana, or avasadhana, you can say. Atma Rajya. They didn't want the territorial lands. They wanted to gain mastery over the soul. Yallabhat naparo labha. Nasti iti munayo viduhu, meaning after attaining which no one need not attain anything else. That is the power of this Atma Jnana. Once you have understood that Atma Jnana, everything else becomes a torn piece of cloth. You will not run. So to such a person now, Lord Krishna says, his sankalpa with respect to his body, mind, senses, now he has trained everything to become his friend. And being in the right place and understanding the temporary nature of the world, being with the right company, it does not waver. Now it is trained. It has got the right cult. It has got the right shape and strength. So, come what, it has got the capacity to combat and grow in life. So, this is the fantastic way how one can master. So, in this Kathopanishad, there is a chariot metaphor which is given. So, now what this Kathopanishad talks about is Atmanam rahitam viddhi shariram rathamevato buddhim tu saratim cha buddhim manaha pragrahamevacha indriyani hayan ahuhu visayamsu tesu gocharan atmendriya manoyuktam bhokteya ahur manishinaha. So meaning know the self, that is the Atma, as the rider in the chariot and the body as the chariot. Know that the intellect as the charioteer and the mind, manas, as the reins. Now the next shloka says, the indriyas are called the horses, the objects of the senses, the vishayas, objects of the senses, sense objects of the world, vishayas, they are the paths which the horses take. So the wise call the self united with the body, senses, and the mind, the enjoyer or experiencer. I will talk about this karta, bhokta in a much detailed way. So meaning what they call, now you have become the jivatma. The mind, when it is mingled with the senses, it becomes the bhokta. And the mind mingled with the aham bhava, it becomes the karta, I am the doer. And the mind mingled with intellect, it becomes the pramata, the knower. So this way, now here these verses are basically, they are trying to explain the disciplined mind and intellect to control the senses and achieve self-realization. So the metaphor of this chariot horses in the Kathopanishad is actually a very profound and illustrative analogy. It explains the nature of the human mind and its role in self-realization. So now let's take a little bit in detail. Now to give you a recap, chariot represents the human body. Horses represent the senses. Reins represent the mind. Charioteer represents the intellect or the discriminative faculty, buddhi what we call. And the passenger who is in the chariot is the self or the Atman. And the path represents the path of life and the objects of the senses. Now, if you go a little in detail about this, the body, as we say, is compared to chariot, which serves as the vehicle that carries the soul through the journey of life. Listen to this carefully. So just as the chariot requires maintenance and proper handling to function effectively, so does the body need care and discipline. You cannot neglect your body, which is a chariot here, because you are going from one place to another. If the wheel is not strong, it will break anytime. So you need to have strong legs. So the horses, which they talk of as the senses, they symbolize the senses which have a natural tendency to wander and go haywire because they're following their own desires. So if left unchecked, they can lead the chariot astray, just as uncontrolled senses can lead a person into a life of sensory indulgence and distraction, which naturally will take you away from spiritual goals. As simple as you have a big list of friends. Now, everybody calls you for a party. And if you keep going for those parties, you don't know what time you're coming back. Your sleep goes for a toss. Your next day, your exercise, which is that basic sense of keeping your body intact, that goes for a toss. In a weak body, you have a weak mind. And when are you going to do meditation or nama japa? So these are very simple things where this is like senses. You have to, your mind says, "अरे मजा आता है यार वहाँ party में, इतने सारे friends है, so many nice things to talk, nice things to eat, to drink, to dance." See how it is. So these are all sensory distractions. Now here the reins come now, the mind, which has a task of controlling the senses, the horses. So a disciplined mind can say, what is the point of having so many friends? Let me choosy now. I can't continue this way. At best, if I go ill tomorrow, I may get some bouquets or some few may come and talk to me, but what is the point? So there he directs his senses appropriately, just as the reins in the hands of a skilled driver controller. Now, if the mind is weak or distracted, naturally the senses will run wild and leading to chaos. Here it comes. Now the charioteer comes. He symbolizes the intellect, guiding and discriminative aspect of self. So the intellect uses his wisdom, just now what I said. I need to do a lot of rationing over here. Let me select a few friends. Don't have to have dozens here. And he guides the mind, that is the reins, in controlling the senses, that is the senses. So this wise charioteer ensures that the chariot moves along the right path. Just as a person with a strong intellect and clear understanding, he steers their life towards righteous and meaningful. Now, who is sitting behind the charioteer, which we call as the passenger or the self or that soul or the Atma? So now that soul is distinct from the body, meaning it is not the chariot. Okay. The person who is sitting in the chariot is not the chariot. Obviously, he is neither the mind also. He is not the reins. He is not the intellect also. He is not the charioteer. So the soul's journey through life, now it is determined how well the charioteer, which is the intellect, and the intellect holding the reins, which is the mind, manages the horses, which are the senses, and eventually the entire chariot, which is the body. See how it is. So you are that owner or that passenger in the chariot. Everything else, we always say, no, I am not the body, I am not the mind. Use this example of the Kathopanishad. Yes, I am not the chariot, I am only traveling in the chariot. If you are going in a car, do you become a car? You are the owner of the car who is traveling in the car. You are not the driver. You are not the steering. You are not the wheels. You are not the road. So this way, the path, which we call the life and objects of the senses, they represent the journey of life. Various objects of desire, they come, that the senses, when they are weak, they start trying to seek all that. So the nature of the journey, whether it is smooth or it is rugged, it has to be directed towards, let it be rough and but it has to be towards a higher. So that harmony with the charioteer, the reins, and the horses has always to be established. So this is what is extremely important. When your mind is your friend, the buddhi is strong, the charioteer is strong, and the mind is disciplined. Manas. The senses, the indriyas, the reins are controlled. This harmonious state, what it allows you to, the individual to progress towards self. In this case, the mind is a friend helping to navigate journey. Now, on the contrary, if it is an enemy, if the intellect is weak, meaning the charioteer doesn't have control, and the mind is undisciplined, this meaning the reins are not firmly tied to the horse. The senses dominate, meaning the horses, they dominate now, leading to a life of indulgence, distraction. Now the horses will go to wherever they want to go. Charioteer and the reins, they don't have any control. And such a soul is hindered in its journey towards enlightenment. So here this is an stage where the mind acts as an enemy, obstructing the true understanding. So this is how it is. So make your mind your friend. Have a logbook where you are making notes of how your mind is improving. You know where all it is weak. Strengthen it. Just pay attention. Whatever is measured gets managed. Unless and until you start measuring, you will not be able to manage. That which is measured gets managed. Start measuring the capacity of your mind and take it to the highest levels. Otherwise, we will all be stuck in the same rut. You just look at the chaos the old people have in life. So much of misery is there in life. Pain in the body, emotional stress, psychological imbalance. And I tell you that. So it's not that you, array, what is there? Few years of pleasure. That's all you get in life. After that, it's a struggle right from the time you are carrying a heavy bag to your kindergarten school. And there they teach you math, algebra, so many things. Don't understand. Even so much of homework. Right from the childhood it starts. I don't know where enjoyment is there. So one has to create that dosha bhava. Hey, what is there in this? Nonsense. Unless and until you start having that dosha bhava in life, you will not be able to come out of this. And if you find comfort in this, then well and good. Enjoy. Go ahead. But if you feel there is something higher, then all this makes tremendous sense. So, by the way, the grace of God, we are all going for a Chardham Yatra starting on the 24th of May and we are back on the 3rd of June. 2 Tuesdays in between will not our session. So, we'll try to resume after we come back. We will let you know well in advance. But till then, you're getting the recordings of the previous lectures. Please keep listening. It makes so much sense. Once I'll tell you, you listen to the recording once again, you will. Sometimes it appears I'm listening it for the first time because there is so much of clarity you've already developed. I know. This is very important. So feed in knowledge, but ensure that how I'm going to apply that knowledge to uplift my life. That is extremely important. Don't just get knowledge. You may get quantum of 10 in terms of knowledge, but you have to ensure that up to 10 you have grasped it. But don't go to the next level. It doesn't make sense. Prepare your mind that I am going to conquer myself. Realize in this very life, and that should be your determination. I want God. I want nothing else. The more is your determination. Ime Vaishya Vrunate Tasya Yesham Vrunate Tanum Swam. Lord says, I show up to those whom I want to show. Many may be seeking, but it's my prerogative to meet whomever I want to meet. So if you want to be that chosen one where Lord opens his doors for you, then again and again ask only that. I want you, nothing else. I only want you. Rest or all, I know that any which ways they're going to come to me as per my prarabdha. I don't have to do special work or effort for that. So these basic understanding will be very clear in our mind. Then that will help us to go in the we go to the two divine names. Stanza 45. ऋतु सुदर्शन काल परमेष्टि परिग्रह उग्रः संवत्सरो दक्षो विश्रामो विश्वदक्षिणः 416 Rutuhu, which means seasons. Here it means the Lord of Time who governs the seasons is called Rutuhu. 417 Sudarshanaha, one who is easy to be perceived if the seeker has sufficient devotion, or he whose meeting is auspicious inasmuch as it removes the seeker's worldly worries. So such a divine Lord is called Sudarshana. Seek is see. Let's chant Lord Dhanvantari's name. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. We offer our humble salutations and prayers to God Dhanvantari health and give us the strength to achieve our goals in life. Now let's do Sakshatkara Siddhi Yoga Dhyana for a few minutes. Take a few deep breaths. Slowly observe the prana going in and coming out. Slowly shift your attention to the mind. You are the observer of the mind, the drashta. The mind are the reins in the hands of a charioteer. You are the owner who is sitting in the chariot. Chariot is the body, the charioteer, the intellect. Reins are the mind, horses are the sense. So look at your observe the thoughts without being judgmental on the thought. Just observe. Don't pay much heed and attention. When to stop observing your thoughts and being non-judgmental, you will start experiencing peace and clean state of be in this state. You bring your attention on the prana. See the breath going in and coming. Om Purnamada Purnamidam मुच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्ण्यते ॐ शान्तिः हरि ओम् वे नमः Rub your palm, place them on your eyes, gently and lovingly on your eyes. Together we offer today Naham Karta Hari Krishna Arpanamastam.